on the 9. How am I doing so far?
Well, nobody younger than us would even know what that meant.
That's right.
I can get time going this way, but not this way in the second grade.
Well, send in the clowns. Don't worry, they're here. It's time for
Good morning, Good Shepherd.
Well, welcome everybody on the second Sunday of Advent. We've got the Advent wreath here, and we will now light the second candle.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy. If you can do it with all your gloves and everything you got on there. This is a test.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. We've got till about 9:45.
Yeah, let's let Andy do
I
it.
don't know. You got to push that thing.
I did.
I'm gonna not push it. You got to push.
Oh, look at you.
I went to Clemson.
Well, I wouldn't admit that if I were you.
Hey.
All right.
All right. The light of Christ is getting a little bit brighter here on Advent 2. And let's see here. Let me see just a second. Pull up my trusty head. Oh, here we go. There are 18 days, 14 hours, 51 minutes, and 17 seconds for you to shop before Christmas. Listening to the reports from Cyber Monday, it appears that, yeah, Andy, stand there for the whole time. It appears that nobody needs to do any more Christmas shopping. What was it? Did anybody get the number? The number was at $8 billion.
Yes.
Just
Oh, you're
$8
kidding.
billion.
Wow.
I mean, that's the gross national product of about half the countries in the world people spent. So we keep talking about the economy's issues and problems with the virus and everything. But somebody's got some money.
Yeah.
Or they got something else.
Yeah.
And what is that?
Well,
Credit cards.
Yeah, right, yeah.
They got credit cards is what they have. And I bet there's a lot of credit cards in America that you can't even touch. They're so hot and
gosh,
smoky.
they probably are.
They've been used so much.
As we're shopping, though, one thing we need to remember is our local people.
Yes.
And it would be great if you can't go in, because I've done this to some places, call and tell them what you need, and they'll bring it to the car. Some people will even deliver it for you, or get one of your kids or somebody to go pick it up.
Would y'all think that a lot of the buying is kind of an anti-COVID response? It's like our world has been completely out of order. And so I'm going to get something to make me feel better. I think there's a good bit of that.
Yeah.
You may be right, because I looked at the numbers and they said all kind of records.
Yeah.
I mean, this is considerably more than ever before for that same time of commerce, and maybe that's it.
Well, we do want to feel good. I mean, we're tired of being. I know I am. I'm tired of being home and that sort of thing, and I'm really worried about, like, my family did not get together for Thanksgiving. We did deliver meals to the front door. My niece did do that for everybody. But for Christmas, I told my parents that we would all drive by and they could just toss presents to us and we'd catch them in the window. I was like, Daddy used to be a paper boy when he was little, so we could test his arm.
He still got his
Yeah,
arm.
I know, yeah,
he really does.
Yeah.
As long as it's a little green box.
Yeah. Or cash.
Or cash or little green.
Bunny and Joe, do y'all find that when you're looking online, if you shop online or if you have catalogs, that you see stuff you'd like?
Well, that's what my sister and I used to do, buy one present for ourselves and then a present for somebody else, so.
Well, Buddy bring up a good point about the Thanksgiving get-togethers and the family dinners. We were asked by the CDC and governors and everybody else, don't do it. But people did it. And I was looking at some numbers as I do every morning early. One of the first things I do after my morning prayers with a cup of coffee is look at some numbers. And the state of California today is going into essentially a full lockdown. There's some counties that won't be locked down. And it's back to where it was, restaurants, et cetera, all the places where a lot of people gather. The governor is locking it down. And they have trigger points, as a lot of folks do. and their trigger point is a little scary. Once their ICUs and their ability to give care reach, they got 15% left. That's how 15% of the beds are in ventilators and all that is left.
Available, yeah.
It's locked down. And I was looking at some of the numbers for some of the counties in California, and some of them are 8%, 9%. So they've already exceeded that. And I was looking at the Richmond County numbers this morning as of 2 days ago. And hospitalizations, if you look at the same time in November to the same time in December, which was a couple of days ago, the percentage of hospital beds has just shot up that are full. And so that part is, that's the trigger. Numbers of cases, the more people that have this, the more people are going to get it but folks don't do the mitigation strategies that we all so painfully aware of. And if the people are indifferent to that, ignore that, then there's going to be more and more infections, and then the percentages fall into place. We know of the numbers of infections, a certain percentage, depending on age groups and morbidities and medical problems, are going to be hospitalized, and it's still hanging in there around 2.5% will die. But that trigger number, that's the big number that they don't push hard enough, is the way we are stressing to the breaking point the resources of hospitals to take care of patients. And it's not just the COVID patients, it's everybody else.
Yeah.
That's heart attacks, strokes, diabetic coma, ruptured aneurysms. Go down the whole list of things. It's day-to-day hospital care admissions. And particularly elective surgery. I understand from a contact at MCG that they are backing back down again, or have backed down again on their ability to provide elective surgery. So you've been waiting to have your hernia fixed, your gallbladder, whatever the elective procedure is.
And people are afraid to, I'm afraid to go for procedures that I need to have, like tests that I need to have done, because I don't want to get it. But one of the other things that's so sad to me about this whole thing is that when you have a loved one in the hospital, or we as priests have parishioners in the hospital, when they need us the most, we cannot be there with them. I mean, that would just be
And sometimes
devastating.
even family can't be with us.
That's
in
what I
some places.
mean.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as these things increase again, they keep calling them surges. If you look back at the big curves, every holiday, 2 weeks later, there's a surge. Every
Yeah.
holiday. So folks still have cognitive dissonance, and they still are having trouble as a large group called All of Americans to do the mitigation things that are expected. So.
Well,
And y'all are both right. I mean, I hate it when I cannot go to the bedside.
Yeah.
I've spent 60 years of my life at the bedside treating patients, and last 20 years as a priest. And that just, giving last rites over the telephone, and
there's something about touch.
There's some,
anointing
absolutely.
someone.
Well, I had a very interesting experience this week. By the way, church family, Dr. Lynn Tyson's mother died this week. Mary Tyson.
Sweet Mary.
She was a grand
She
old
was.
Savannah matriarch and was living at Brandonwild, and she passed away very quietly, very peacefully. But keep the Tyson Horton family in your prayers, please. But I had to go down. I was within 3 minutes of arriving at the hospital when she died.
Oh, wow.
So because it was end of life, I got permission to go in.
Oh, you
Joe,
did?
you probably done this, and maybe you have, but folks, it's a surreal world when you walk through that door at the hospital at University. All the lobby furniture's gone, the little stores are closed. It was like nobody was in there. I thought I'd walked into The Walking Dead or something. I don't know what was happening. But wonderful experience to have the prayers for her and anoint her and send her off in Jesus' name. But you're right, as a priest, I miss those opportunities because it has to almost be end of life before, and sometimes they still won't let you in. One other thing, and I've got to go, and I'm totally departing from the course of things.
Well, we have a script?
Now, yeah, well, you sent me this. But folks, we live in a time, and that's exactly what we're talking about, where everything is changing. It's changing in terms of disease and illness and medical work. It's changing in terms of political structures. Our economy may well change a great deal. So we're facing all kinds of changes. But the difference between us and those folks in 1941, who were in 1941 America in December, there was a Japanese carrier fleet sailing a little-used northerly course towards Pearl Harbor. And tomorrow is what?
Pearl Harbor Day.
Pearl Harbor Day.
Yep, yep.
A
So-
day that will live in infamy.
That's right.
And it changed the course of the world. It certainly changed the course of America and all of Asia. Look at the things that came out of World War II. So I think because of Advent, you're wondering how you're going to connect Advent to that tale. Be ready for change. It's coming.
Yeah.
Be ready. And for Christians, what's the good news? Who's coming?
Jesus.
Jesus.
The
So
Savior
there's
of the
our
world.
hope. And let's hang on to that. All right, I've got to go get ready for service and pray for Rogers.
Don't
Don't forget to connect your mic.
He just
You
did.
just did. Don't step on it. Come on this way.
Bye, Andy.
Yeah, thank you, Avery. Hey, say hello to everybody, Avery.
Hello.
Avery has joined us recently as our AV expert, spelling Roger and helping Roger out, because we've gotten more and more, shall I say, complicated
Yes.
in our efforts to deliver the best product to all of you, both here with Good Morning, Good Shepherd, which I might add has been extremely popular, and thank y'all for joining us every morning. And as the days get a little cooler and everything, we're still going to be outside, and you see bunnies all bundled
Wrapped
up
up
here
today.
and everything, because this is the least risky place for us to be without masks, and we're we're almost 6 feet distance. At any rate, Avery is a film major. Is that right?
Film and theater.
Say it again.
Film and theater.
Film and theater major at Augusta University, and boy, she has been a great gift to us.
She
and so
has.
thank you for doing that. And so we can free Roger up to do some other things, like
Preach.
he's preaching this morning.
Yes.
And why is Roger preaching this morning? Well, what is the feast day today?
St. Nicholas.
It is the feast day of St. Nicholas of Myra. And St. Nicholas was a real saint. This ain't the feast day of Santa Claus. It's the feast day of St. Nicholas of Myra, who's an interesting saint. We talked about saints several weeks ago with All Saints' Day. The church, it very early on in its, as it was trying to figure out how to get organized and everything, it started, and this is a Catholic church, it started identifying saints, and that's capital S, and so they put these people on the same page as the original saints, which were the apostles. And if you look in your prayer book, you'll see a big S there. And as time went on, more and more folks were added to that list, but they had to have some sort of mysterious miracle or something happen, or several of those events to happen to be canonized as a saint. When the Reformation, which took place in the 16th century, the reformers threw out a lot of stuff that was Catholic, and then they brought it back in again because they said, well, this ain't all bad. We'll use this. And our liturgy and so much that we do in the Anglican Church, which was a split, is very much likened to the Catholic Church. And folks say they come to our church for services that are of the Catholic faith. They say, boy, things ain't a whole lot different here.
Same with the Lutheran Church.
And the same with the Lutherans, yeah. And these are the liturgical churches. But the reformers, they say, well, we don't want to throw the saints out, but we're going to have saints too. But it's going to be saint with a little s, not the big S. And in order to become a saint in the Anglican Church, the Episcopal Church, you have to be put up at General Convention, and it goes, I think, 2 or 3 times. It's like being elected bishop or something. And then over that time, people will lobby for that, and there's voting and all that, and your CV and your biography. Unfortunately, you have to be dead for this to happen. So I'm in no. I know I'm in. Buddy, you're in line. I know for sure for sainthood, but no time soon.
It doesn't matter how much you lobby, you ain't gonna make the list.
No,
Let me just tell you.
I thought you were going to lobby for me, but and I just want to mention to you. You say, well, who are these saints and what are their days? Well, there's almost a saint for every day of the year. There's a couple of days that are still left, I think. And these are all kept, and it's great. Their biographies are in here, their prayers in there, collects in there, to help you celebrate these days. This is Lesser Feast and Fast, the 2000 edition, and this has all the saints listed, just to show you how saints have been added. I don't know if you can appreciate the size of these, but this is the last one, I think 2009, called Holy Women, Holy Men. Oh, okay. You mean girls could be saints? Wow.
Look, they're top on the list too.
Holy
there
women,
you go.
holy men, yeah. And so this is a rich resource. I look at this every day to see what is the saint of the day. I read a little brief biography of them, some prayers and a collect, and there's some readings as well that blend themselves in for that particular individual.
Right.
And it's remarkable. So I commend this to you, and if you don't want a big old book to drop on your head while you're reading at night in the bed, all of this stuff is online, and you can just Google it or just go to the Episcopal website.
It's not. Some of the stories are very fascinating, they're
fascinating.
short little bios of them. It's not. It's like you said, you could read them in the morning before you have your devotional, or after, or before you go to bed at night. Either one. But they're really, and the prayers are nice, and but most of all, it's just fascinating to read the stories of some of these people and what they did in their lives, how committed they were to Christ and to the church.
Yeah, it's very, very inspirational, and it's amazing how some days I'll flip and see what is today, and then what the story is and what it is. Well, this is going on in the world right now, or this is going on in my life, and this individual made it through there, not without some bumps and misery along the way, but made it through the trials and tribulations of whatever era they happen to be in history, because this is 2,000 years worth of sainthood. And so it's a kind of a, well, you know, and then you read how they got, well, maybe this can help me or something. It's a great devotional resource to start your day off, along with whatever other things you do.
It's also, I'll give y'all a little secret.
Uh-oh, a
Some
secret.
days when you're reading the lessons for the day, if you're doing a midweek service, or sometimes even on Sunday, sometimes you just can't get it together, thinking about what can I write about. And so we often go to this book, and that'll give you a jumping point to start a sermon or to write a sermon about a person and the commitments they made.
I will confess to all that I have stolen so much material out of this resource here. Both, you know, we write the three of us write a piece for the Shepherd's Fold, and we're always scratching our head. Oh Lordy, what shall I write about this week? And from time to time, I have found. All right, I found it. This is what I'll do, and introduce the readership to one of the saints that they may not realize who they are and what their lives were and everything. And great sermon material, particularly if I'm preaching and it's on or around that day.
Yeah.
I don't hesitate to move a feast.
Yes.
If it is beneficial to my
That's
sermon.
right. He's even been known to wear a red stole on a day that's a green day.
Well,
So
yeah, just that's right. Just do it to your benefit.
That's
and
right.
And the good of creation. But so back to today's feast of Saint Nicholas of Myra. Where in the world is Myra? Myra's been Greece and it's been Turkey. It's Turkey right now. And Nicholas he was a bishop, and in the 4th century, which was before Constantine made Christianity the official religion of Rome, and the Christians got a break. He unfortunately, his timing was bad because he was outspoken and he got persecuted, tortured, and killed, as so many did in that particular era before Constantine. And that is about all we know about him. And I'll tell you one thing, what we do, if we don't have the facts, we'll make them up. That's called legend and lore and tradition. And the stories started at that time, and they have built up, and there are all sorts of stories about it. But the main thing that he is identified with is his generosity. Mm-hmm. He was a giver, and his generosity to children. And so that has kind of snowballed into, well, what is Santa Claus is the giver of gifts to children. And that has morphed over time. And Santa Claus, as we understand Santa Claus, is due pretty much to Clement Clark Moore. Mm-hmm. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring. And he describes that down the chimney he came. He had a big white beard, red suit, a cherry nose, and a pipe in his mouth.
And the big old belly,
And
don't forget that.
Hey, you're going to meddle in there. And so with that, that's how we got our image. And then finally, our picture of Santa Claus, the one that sits there, and the little kids used to come in and sit on Santa Claus' lap and tell him what they wanted for Christmas. That was due to Coca-Cola.
Yes.
That Coca-Cola advertisement, and that is the picture of Santa Claus. So you see how these things evolve. I don't want to steal any of Roger's thunder, because he is he's on the virtual morning prayer. He's preaching on that. And he's going to preach at the 9:30 and the 11 o'clock service. The 11 o'clock service will be live streamed. And we're going to be doing that for the through
Long
Christmas.
haul, yeah.
Through Christmas, till the first of the year, be live streaming one service. And that's to do the best we can to continue to reach out to folks, give you that contact point, which is not this, but it's this. But that's something. And it's a way that we're having, and people are telling me they're getting used to it. And I said, oh my goodness, I didn't want to hear that, because then when we start back, when Jesus comes, having regular services and drinking from a common cup, everybody's going to say, well, I think click, I think I'll get my coffee and kind of watch the service. I
don't know. I'm so ready to hug some people,
I've been out hugging trees all morning just to hug something. But anyway, back to Nick. I do want to commend a book to you that this is actually the third or fourth one that I've had, because I've given several away. And
I'll take that one then.
Well, this is to read to your children, because children have a concept of Santa Claus, but probably not St. Nicholas. And St. Nicholas is connected to the church. Santa Claus is connected to
The culture.
the culture.
The credit card.
Credit cards. So that's the commercial side of Christmas is Santa Claus. This is, let me read this. This is The True St. Nicholas, Why He Matters to Christians, by William J. Bennett, who's a best-selling author of, not this book, this is not a bestseller, but many other books. And so I commend this to you, because of all those legends and lore and things I was talking about, how St. Nicholas evolved and came to be a saint, and the stories and traditions that are associated with him. It's fascinating reading, and it gives you a sense of people in different times, different cultures, different societies, how they kept this saint, until Santa Claus showed up, in their hearts and in their lives at the dark times of the year, as coming into the darkest nights of the year,
Right.
and then of course the light of Christ comes in after the end of December, and that's what these candles are all about, and that's what our liturgy is about, is Jesus coming twice, as a little babe and as the Savior, the Judge, and all that. It's some time in the future, in the eschaton, which it means the end time. But we're now at Advent 2. So
Before you
yeah,
go on,
yeah, buddy, yeah, sure.
The only thing I
Now,
wanted to...
I'll hand it to you,
No,
but
no.
you don't get to keep it.
Oh, shoot. What I was going to say is to remind everyone that it's noon today, I think,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Roger will be at the Lich Gate.
Yes.
I mean, St. Nicholas will be at the Lich
Okay,
Gate.
well, way to go, bud.
And, well, I think you'll recognize him even though he'll have on his St. Nicholas clothes. Anyway, he will be there for children to come and visit, and I think he has a little surprise for everybody. I don't know if you have to be under a certain age to get the surprise or not, but anyway, he
I
will be
intend to
there.
get a surprise.
I'm sure you do. And so, anyway, bring your children today at noon over to the Lich Gate, and you can do a drive-by,
Have a drive-by. Mhm.
and,
Yep, uh-huh.
and see
Yep.
St. Nicholas here
Yep.
today. So,
Yep, yep. Yeah, this has been a tradition at Good Shepherd, but since we can't gather, and we've already done drive-by Eucharist, so folks are kind of used to the process and the
Yeah.
cadence of all that. So here again, we're just trying to everything we can do to connect with folks and keep our traditions alive and functioning and energetic as we go through. It's going to be many, many months ahead. You know, I'm excited about the virus. I'm not really sure I understand it just yet. The vaccine. And because right now there are two that are waiting approval, but there's a bunch of other ones that are in the queue.
Yeah.
And so they're going to come out. And so, in order to get, 70% of the people inoculated, 70% of 330 million. Okay, well, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while, and there are other issues. But I won't talk too much about the vaccine. But we're going to be still in this for quite a while. So we are committed to doing everything we can to continue to keep our connection as low risk as possible and as professional and high quality. And that's why we've got people like Avery and Roger and Emily who are putting all this together. The amount of work it takes to produce, we're producing a show.
Yeah.
Basically is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we have gone through a learning curve with this. But I love our product. And I don't mean to denigrate it by saying product, but that's what it is. But it is, there are folks all over the diocese and people outside of Georgia that have contacted me and said, wow, that is pretty spectacular. And even the city of Augusta has a big website, and they're interested in putting us on that, but they want some money to do that. So we're looking into that. But our website is spectacular, and it is it's up here, and people use it and comment on it and say they try to emulate it and copy it and everything. But we spent a lot of money getting that website in place, and with Ware Stewart doing it for us. So.
Well, I think one thing that we are still trying to do as well is to go back to continuing the practices that we had. We were together on Sunday mornings, whether you came at 8, 9, 11:15, or even at 6 o'clock at night, and we want to offer something to you, and we know it's not the same. It's not the same for us either. And so, but we want to offer you something that will sort of keep you in the habit, whether you're watching it in your pajamas or not. It will keep you going. And I was thinking about this actually this yesterday morning, and I was getting ready to start getting dressed, and I thought, what's the use? You know, I don't have anywhere to go or anybody to see or whatever. But the use is that it keeps you in the habit of continuing to do the things that you need to do in life. And one of those things is to be a part of a worship community. And so it is important to be here on Sundays with us, even though it isn't the same. This is about as close as we could get, I guess, to being in the parish house with a cup of coffee and laughing with each other and hearing what we've all been doing. But so I would encourage you to, get your children to come in there, get your children to come to the Sunday school that we have. It's a good way to connect with them, with each other, the other children, but it's also a good way to continue that habit of being here on Sundays, because one glorious morning we will be able to gather again, and we will be able to hug each other, and we will be able to come to our altar, the table, to share the Eucharist with one another again. And I'm looking forward to
Boy,
that
me
day.
too.
It'll
I think
definitely be.
We all hunger for it. This habit, I have actually I'm sort of addicted to it, is church. And that started with my mama umpteen years ago, my good old Baptist superintendent of Sunday school mama. She insisted that I could come anything. I mean, I don't think I was ever so sick that she didn't drag me to church. And she always tell me, you got a lot of bad habits. This is going to be a good habit. So here we go. Off we went to church. And so I'm suffering from all kind of separation anxieties and depression and all that, because even though we're doing church, your clergy is, we're virtual and in person and all kind of things like this, it ain't the same without you.
It's right, you're right.
That's why we do this. That's why when we should have been in nursing homes, we went to seminary. I mean, my goodness sakes, why did we do that? Because we love people.
That's right.
And we want to serve people and bring Jesus Christ to people. And we're doing that, but it's. I just like to get in your face and tell you, are you saved, sister? And so that's. I know y'all are suffering, but I hope Buddy and I have articulated how much we are suffering as well. And a day don't go by that I don't miss y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've been very fastidious and strict about my separation from folks, since the only way you get this saying is from somebody else, and it may be an asymptomatic person. 40% seem to be, but I just want to be around for when that glorious day comes.
Yeah, right. We all
whether
do.
it's the vaccine or whatever that happens.
Well, the church, it's interesting when we go in to film the service. We film on Monday morning the service for the following week, the morning prayer service. And it'll be Roger and Joe, Andy, and me. Pretty soon it'll be Ted joining us. Mm-hmm. And sometimes Lynn is here with us as well. But it's like Joe says, it ain't the same without the warmth, the love, the spirit that we all feel when we're all there together. I wish I had words. I don't have words to describe. We just miss you. I don't know what else to say. And I know I've said this many times before, being able to put the host in your hand, to feel the touch, your touch against my fingers, it's an incredible mystery that I miss so much, and I know that you all do too, and hopefully sooner rather than later we will be able to gather again.
Yeah, well said, yeah. Some of us. I learned in seminary that to make the distribution of the host or the cup, if you're doing that, very personal.
Yeah.
And so And Neil Alexander, who's the former bishop of Atlanta, was one of my teachers there. Great guy. He was a great bishop. Now he's back as dean. That's one of, I think he's retiring. Dean of Swanee. Anyway, he said, be it personal. Look people in the eye and give it a pretty firm touch and say, Bunny, the body of Christ, the bread of heaven. Say it like you mean it.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's the other person's touch. And so many of you over time have kind of gotten caught up in that, and so I'll get a little squeeze. And a bunch of you say, thank you. Well, you're welcome, but thank the guy behind me hanging on that cross. Because that's the reality of it, and it's also the mystery of it. So, gee whiz. Well, we look forward to the day.
Yeah, we do. And one thing I would encourage everybody to do between now and then is, Advent is the time when we look inside, we examine our spirits, our reasons for being, our love for God, our love for one another. I would encourage all of us during this time when we're feeling, I don't know, sometimes I just feel lonely, to be honest with you, but to try to remember the things that we should be grateful for. You know, being able to wake up in a warm bed when there's so many who can't, having a hot cup of coffee in the morning when there's so many who can't, even the feel of your pajamas against your skin. That attitude of gratitude, there's nothing I think that will jerk me back into life a little faster than to think about the things that I am grateful for or that I have neglected that I should be grateful for. Of course, we're grateful for our family and our friends, but there are those little tiny things that, like I said, like the feel of the pajamas against your skin or these wonderful mittens that I'm so thankful for. And to do that every day, and the more that we are grateful for what we have, the less time we have to think about the things that we're not being able to experience right now. So,
attitude of gratitude.
There you go.
How good is that? And you're exactly right. When misery is being heaped on you, and there's all kind of misery being heaped on a bunch of folks with the loss of jobs, income, the loss of touch, separation. I mean, the whole list goes on because this virus has negatively affected every person on this planet, I think. I'm not sure anybody has been exempt from it. And so when you're in that situation, it's hard to think about all the good things. And even the folks that that are having a really bad run of it, something good has happened to them before and is probably happening then and will happen in the future. But I can see if you're so miserable, it's hard to figure out anything that you're thankful for. And so we're talking from a very different perspective. But my mama, I keep bringing my mama up. You think I was a mama's boy? Of course I was, because I'm an only child.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, as he says, you're spoiled beyond recovery too. But and she came from very humble beginnings. I mean, not quite close to poverty, and the Depression and all of those bad things that happened in that era. And then, as Andy mentioned, the Second World War comes into effect, and then all that's going on with the rationing and all. And anyway, a lot of things were changed in their lives. But she always told me, Joe, be thankful for what you got, because I'd be complaining about, I don't have a red wagon like little Johnny down the road does. Joe, be thankful for what you got. And so thanks for bringing that up. In these kind of times, it's hard to do that, but we got so much. Oh, by the way, what have you got to be thankful for? Your life,
yes,
your breath, and God becoming incarnate in the person of Jesus Christ. So we might see God up close and personal, flesh, bone, blood, up that. Because we can now see God through the Christ. The Christ is that icon, that window that we look through to see God. God came down here to be one of us. That's the most amazing Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And we see God through Christ, but the great thing for us too is that God sees us through Christ. So Christ is our shield when it comes to that judgment day. He's there giving us grace and mercy. So.
Yeah, that's why this is the greatest story ever told, and that's why it is. And that's why this is such a celebratory time. I mean, the birth of Jesus has already happened 2,000 years ago. But the incarnation, that for me is, but it's the incarnational aspect of that this God who's hard to see, creator of all, and the energy of creation is love.
Yes.
This God of unconditional love created us. He's probably regretting it, has regretted it umpteen times, because we have been misbehaving little naughty children since the very beginning
Since
of
the
our
beginning,
creation.
yeah.
But he still loves us. And Christ is there to save us from ourselves and our sinfulness. And the biggie, the front end, saved from sin, but then the other one is freed from the fear of death. Right. And by Christ's resurrection, that promise is for us. So as we come to Christmas and we think about, oh, little town of Bethlehem, all those kinds of things, deeper down into that is the profundity of Christmas, of the birth, is this God, awesome, unbelievable entity, perfect energy, perfect knowledge, perfect wisdom, perfect love, has decided to do this, and then came close to saying, I wash my hands of all of this. I'm going to send a big flood and get rid of all you clowns. He changed his mind again. And now he's changed his mind, becoming incarnate in Jesus Christ. And so he changed it. He wants us to have a life, abundant life, and he wants us to have eternal life.
With him.
With him. And whatever that means. Look at that. I don't even worry about that. A lot of people, well, what's heaven going to look like? Well, I don't really. It's not for me to say. What I'd like to be at the party. I want to be invited to the party.
If there's a party, I'm there.
Really care if they're serving lobster or if they're serving Crystal Burgers. I just want to be
manna.
or manna. I just want to be at the party, and that's that certainly is the promise of Christ's resurrection.
Well, Joe, before we go, let's remind people again what our service times are.
Yes.
On Sunday mornings. Okay, so we have our 9 o'clock Good Morning Good Shepherd, which is here we are right here. At 10, there's the morning prayer. That is, obviously without communion, where there will be a sermon and some singing. And then at 11 o'clock,
Don't forget 9:30.
9:30 is here at the church, in-person worship, but that is not streamed out. That's what I was saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And then at 11 o'clock, there is the streamed service that is a Eucharist. So, and don't forget that you can register to come to the 9:30 or the 11 o'clock services. We're limiting that to 48 people. Also, don't forget, I think, is it the 14th that you could start registering to come to one of the 4 Christmas Eve services, which will be at 4, 6, 8, and 10. I believe that's right. There will be a Christmas Day service.
There will be.
I'm sorry, I don't know the time on that. It's 11, I think, but I'm not real sure about that.
That was our original plan, but stay.
I know it's
Subject to change.
confusing. It's confusing, but just turn on your YouTube or whatever or Facebook at 9 o'clock and just keep staying there till it'll come up. And next week we get to light the pink candle.
We do.
So we'll talk a little bit about that
We
next
will
week
indeed.
too, and what that means. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And some people have in their Advent wreaths have different colored candles, and I think they're green, gold, I can't remember, pink. But
And
then
blue.
also, some have, instead of 3 blue, they have 3 purples. So the color for Advent, the stoles that we wear and the hangings on the altar and the pulpit and all, can be either blue or purple. So at Good Shepherd, we have blue.
Yep, yep. It's been our tradition for a long, long time. It has been. Let's see. I was going to say something profound. And maybe it'll come back to me. At 2 in the morning, I'll call you.
Yeah.
When it does.
We're going to wait with bated breath all week, I'll tell you.
Oh, well, team, thank you so much for joining us. We've had a ball, and
We always do that.
we always do, yeah, because we just enjoy talking. You may have noticed. Avery, anybody send any questions in or anything?
No questions.
No questions, but 2,000 hits or 3,000 hits?
10,000 thumbs up and hearts.
And
I'm
hearts
sure
and
that's
everything
what it
just
is.
rising up
Yes.
But thank you for being with us. Happy Advent too, as we this morning, as you attend which of the services of your choice, you're going to meet our old buddy John the Baptist, a voice crying in the wilderness. And so he's an interesting character in The Messenger. And I always like to imagine John the Baptist as a messenger who had a message, but he had said it so many times, he was the message. And as I think about that, that's sort of a lesson for us. It's a lesson for me. If you read the story enough, listen to the story enough, practice the story enough, be around people who like the story, tell the story over and over, after a while, some transformation occurs and we become the story. And I think my mama tried to tell me that because I needed to become the story. But it's this habit, back to what you're saying again, and it becomes, God, part of your DNA. It really does.
Yearn for it.
You yearn for it. Yes, that's right. As the deer panteth for the water, so
wow.
my soul longs after you. Uh-oh.
There's a question. What is the name of the second book Joe held up?
Say it again.
The second book Joe held up, what's the name of it?
What? I can't remember. Was this? Okay, I'm going to...
Show all of them.
Oh, wait, that's an old one. This is
Yeah.
the latest one. Okay, I got 2, but one is about the saints of the Episcopal Church, and it's called Holy Women, Holy Men. The other one is about St. Nicholas, the true St. Nicholas, why he matters to Christians. Okay, those are the 2 that I recommend, and I recommend both of them to you. This one is a little heavy, so you can use your cellular phone and look it up, or your iPad, and not the book per se, but all the saints in it. Okay, I hope that was helpful to you. If not, putterdog60@hotmail.com. Just email me, and I'll be happy to share that. But don't ask me about book recommendations, because I got a lot of books. All right, well, Avery, thanks. Appreciate your good help. Bunny, enjoyed that.
Me too, Joe.
And so y'all have a safe week. And I mean, really, there was I can't remember where I saw it. You know, the wearing of mask whenever you leave your comfort zone, your bubble, or whatever, your pod, and those kind of things are. You know, the CDC is recommending, as they have for some time, to wear a mask whenever you're outside of that. And I played golf yesterday in a little tournament, and I wore my mask all day long.
How'd you smoke your cigar?
No, your daddy was smoking. No, Carolyn, I hope you're not watching. Maybe my former partner.
I know. She's going to lock him up, won't let him play anymore.
But I saw this little thing, and it's kind of, and it was mask it or casket.
Oh,
Ouch.
wow.
Shall we end on that happy
Yeah,
note?
that's. I'm looking for my mask. Where'd it go? Oh, God.
I got mine right here.